I'm live. It says that I am live. We're going to see if this is going to work. We're going to go to... I think this is live, and I should have loaded a separate page for the comments. Oh, man. Bear with me, folks. I know you're probably watching this right now, and I'm on there and live, and I don't even have the comments set up. The comments are on a separate page, unfortunately. Maybe I can pop them out of there. Pop out chat. Kaboom. There it is. All right, we'll put the chat over there. Well, we are live. We're going to see what we got here. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. I got to arrange my windows on here so I can see it. Welcome to another Death by Bungie live stream. Thank you for bearing with me this morning. We're actually starting a minute or two early, but I did that just because I wasn't sure it was going to work. So you are looking at me. Look at this beautiful backdrop I have. You have this screen door, and Genevieve's going to work this screen door just so you can hear how awful and obnoxious it is. You ready? I'm not kidding. Go ahead, shut up. This is the new house, okay? So we're at our new house here, and I'm gonna give you a little tour of the outdoors here real quick. We're really happy about this. So far, when he set this up this morning, I think it worked out really nice. I think we're gonna have a really good setup here for these live streams. Oh man, but that door, we cannot go in and out of it because it's obnoxious, loud, and I actually sprayed it with lubriplate, and I think I made it worse. Like, it just is not, like, you can't get whatever's squeaking on there. I can't figure it out, but we're going to avoid going in and out. To tell you where we're at, we're sitting on a porch, an elevated porch right here, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to a split screen. There's my daughter. Wave, Genevieve. Hi, Genevieve. She's actually checking the Facebook page. I uploaded some pictures on there, a real quick picture saying we're getting ready for this live stream here on the YouTube channel. And I had her upload that, or, sort of check the comments and all that sort of thing. So she's been playing around with that while I've been getting this set up and keeping my fingers crossed, hoping it's going to work. I think it's going to work. I'm sitting in my little Death by Bungie shooting chair. I have my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee for the morning here, and we're sitting. I really can't show you just this area, but I do have that second webcam set up. How cool is that? So we keep an eye on Genevieve, but I can also turn it a bit to show you the backyard here, okay, that right to left. All right, are you with me? So on the right-hand side, well, not shooting Genevieve. I'm just talking for the purposes. She's getting ready. She's actually going to be doing the shooting here. How cool is that? But on the right-hand side here in the back, we've got the block target. Genevieve's going to grab the rangefinder there and tell us how far that turned out to be. I used the rangefinder from the yard, and I'm trying to get the purpose of today's hunt. I'm going to come back on the webcam here. The purpose of today's shooting, this backyard shooting, and the reason we're doing it live is, I should start with that. Last year, you guys remember the live stream. I did the first ever Death by Bungie live stream, string and shoot, I think I called it. In the notes of this video, you should be able to see that, yeah, Moose Junction Hunter, 3D shoot. How cool is that? That's kind of the plan is for this morning. So you guys are picking up on that. That's what we're getting ready for Genevieve to have some options here going out into the woods, right? Going out into actual hunting circumstances. So we've got this 3D shoot set up here. Last year I had that where I changed the string. I was just doing some routine stuff, getting ready for the upcoming meet and greet. I was just working on that for and I did a live stream about it. I was going to change Bungie's string and do all that good stuff and just show you how I go through that process. It was intended to be educational, to show you just how I go through that process. If that helps you, great. And then I ended up dry firing live on a live stream. How cool is that? It wasn't cool at all, but it still was an opportunity to show you how to recover from that. And I did a video or two afterwards. So you make the best out of a bad situation. That's what we got to do, right? So I'm kind of doing that. Today we're doing the same kind of live stream, hopefully without the dry fire. So that's why the thumbnail for this says, this with no dry fire. So that's where we're at. This porch that we're on, one of the things that I want to do here, when we have this, I'm going to show you that field again, the yard, that 3D shoot, the opportunity to shoot at these different animals at different distances and all that fun stuff, that's pretty cool. because it gives Genevieve an opportunity to shoot at different distances, to shoot at somewhat, you could say, live targets, right? The 3D shoot. We got the 3D target, so it'll make it look like what she's more accustomed, what she's going to see when she goes out and hunts live. If she hunts wild boars with us, as planned at the meet and greet, that wild boar target is set up. The deer is set up. That's the old deer target. I see in the comments somebody saying that that's Buckley. Nope, that's not Buckley. Believe it or not, I talk about this in my book. That's a predecessor to Buckley. It's just an old foam target that I've had. And there's a neat story about that foam target in the book. So you should read the book. I'm not going to tell you the whole target. The stories are, there's too much to the stories to sit here and try and tell you those in a video or something. But that target that you see out there, that buck target, is actually not a decoy, although there's a story about how it was used as a decoy once. And we also have the other ones out there. Now I'm going to flip this back over here for Genevieve, and she can explain to us what we're kind of looking at there. She's got the rangefinder, and I've only got the 2 cameras. So she's using the rangefinder now, but hopefully I'm going to keep playing with them, so hopefully that doesn't get too obnoxious. But Genevieve, can you tell us what you're looking at there? What do you got for, how is this for, is it showing up the split screen on the live stream? Is this working? Like, do you have a picture of my daughter using the rangefinder, and then in the corner see me? Is that working? Because if that's working, that's pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. That's pretty neat. Now she's over there pretending to use the rangefinder. Let's see if she's successful in using the said rangefinder. How are you making out?
The block is 25.
The block is 25. Okay. I need 3 cameras. I can tell you already we're going to have 3 cameras. One on Genevieve, one on me, and one on that place. Because the block, because now that I've turned this camera, you can't see it. But the block is out at 25, you said?
Yep.
25 yards for the block. Okay, that's the furthest target we'll be shooting at today. That's realistic hunting stuff. For us as crossbow hunters, the Death by Bunjie family, we don't shoot. Look at this face on my daughter. Look at that. What a great kid. We don't shoot, well, we'll shoot 30. I've shot once at 35 yards. But, targets is one thing, but animals is a different story. But so I think realistically at our meet and greet, if we are to sit in a tree stand at the upcoming meet and greet, if that happens, then we will want to be comfortable out to 25 yards. I think that's a fair shot. Beyond that, you know, they get a pass. They get a pass. They want to get shot, they got to show up first, right, Genevieve?
Yeah.
That's how we do it. That's my motto. If that big buck wants to get shot, he's got to show up first. Moose Junction Hunter says, I want to see Rich use his climber. No, you don't.
I don't think you do.
No, you don't. There's a... That's a subject of a different video. Yeah. You guys are killing me. Chuck Smith says, yes, it's working, both videos. So we got the, let's go back. I'm going to try and switch this around again. Genevieve's going to play around with that thing she's got here with the rangefinder. Okay, the block we said is at 25. That's the upper right. Yep, farthest one. Now, how far away is your deer?
The deer is 18.8 yards.
18.8 yards. So probably at 18.8 yards, those deer never show up at the right distance. Have you noticed that? They never show up on the 20-yard line. But at 18.8 yards, you're probably safe using your 20-yard pin, okay?
Okay.
All right. You might want to aim a touch low. Okay. You know, just because it's, you know, whatever. I think that's fair. That's a fair shot. Now, your little chunk target, we look at there, that's the little guy down there in the bottom right-hand corner. What do we got there for distance?
That is just under 15.
Just under 15. So we probably would aim as though that was 15 yards. Well, you don't have a 15-yard pin. What are you going to do?
I think I do have a 15-yard pin, actually.
Oh, does Bunjie Jr. have a 15-yard pin?
We'll find out, I guess.
We're going to find out. There's one way to find out. You know how to find out? You know how to find out if it has a 15-yard pin?
Okay.
No, you don't have to do it now. I'm just saying.
Oh.
But can you guess how you find out?
You'll try and shoot something.
Or look through it. I was just going to say look through it, but yeah. I'm just putting you on the spot. She loves this. She loves being on the spot in a live stream. Now, we've got a boar down here in a box. What's the story on that, Genevieve? Can you tell us?
That was actually sent to us from Marshall Robinson, and I thought Dad ordered that. I didn't know someone sent it to us. We get lots of surprises here.
I want to thank Marshall for that. And I want to thank all you friends of Bunjie for joining us. I see Marshall is on here. Marshall sent this to us. He was so excited. How cool is this? He was so excited to hear that we were doing our Zoom meetings, and it'll be more in the meet and greet this upcoming week. That's really the pre-meet and greet week, right, for Crossbow Appreciation Month. This is Crossbow Appreciation Month, right? I didn't mention that, but that's what this is. These live streams are a big part of that. They're intended to get you guys excited about the upcoming crossbow seasons, get you out there shooting your own crossbows, maybe give you some tips and helpful hints along the way too, and open up discussions and stuff like that. And there's lots of cool stuff coming that I have planned. There's always more planned than I can accomplish, because 31 videos in 31 days, that's what Crossbow Appreciation Month is on Death by Bunjie. That's awesome. But it's a lot of work, 31 videos in 31 days. But it's actually not that many videos, really, when you look at the wealth of potential topics that we have for crossbows and Crossbow Appreciation Month. 31 videos it's almost cut me short a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm going to do my best. And this new place, actually, right here inside this squeaky door, is the trophy room that you saw in previous videos. Right inside this. And there is actually, we are on a balcony. I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't do. I'm going to lift up this camera and pan around here. Here's my daughter, right? Hi, Genevieve. And then just have you look. Here's the floor that needs paint and all that. But we're on a little porch right here. Here's a laptop set up. Look at that. This is actually really cool. But there's a laptop to give you a full idea. There's no stairway up here. This is just its own little balcony that we are on the side of the house, overlooking the backyard. How cool is that? Now, there's another deck over here where my grill will go and all that good stuff, where we can have our cookouts, family cookouts, and all that fun stuff. But for the most part, I told you I was going to regret doing this. How can I put this cord? There we go. Maybe that'll work. That'll work. But yeah, this balcony is perfect for, when I looked at this house, when we looked at this, I was like, man, I got to buy this place, because I can sit out here, do the videos in here, do videos out here, come out here on a nice morning like this, sit here, and this actually is just like shooting out of a tree stand. We're about 15 feet in the air. The lawn slopes down a little bit in the back, down. There's a railroad tracks down there, river wave down in the back and all that. But as it slopes down, it's a great spot to shoot off of here, because we're shooting down at these targets just like you would in a tree stand. How cool is that? It works out perfect. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, Genevieve's going to go ahead and we're going to do some shooting here at some point. So I'm going to have Genevieve here. We're going to switch this stuff around. I'm going to have her. Why don't you grab your crossbow of choice here? Let's watch Genevieve cock Bunjie.
Oh, no.
No, don't do it. You don't have to do it. Actually, hold on. Let's throw a little demonstration here, right? Let's talk about the difference between these two crossbows. But it doesn't want to cooperate real good, but we'll make it work. I don't want to break my cameras. Show them, and I will take this right off here. That apparently works. But we're going to have Genevieve grab Bunjie if you can without, there isn't a lot of room on this balcony, but I'm going to switch this right over like this. Show them the difference. I'm going to have you bring that over here where we can see you a little bit. I'm going to bring it over here and turn it toward me so you can see it, the width of it. Look at the size of that crossbow. It barely fits on this porch. That is how big this crossbow is. And that is one of the benefits of newer crossbows. You guys with compound crossbows are looking at me like, why in the world would you even have that thing? Like, why did you buy that? Because you can't, but what can you do with something that big, right? I still appreciate this crossbow. I really do. But I want to show you the difference with my daughter, who's not a particularly short girl. You're how tall? 6'2", 6'3"?
No, I'm like 5'9".
5'9". Okay, she's 5'9". But reach down there. She can't reach the cocking ropes on.
Stop laughing at me. I got it.
She got it this time. Now, she probably could not cock it. Well, I can tell you right now, she can't cock it.
No.
She could try. It would get back. In my experience with this stuff, in our experience with this stuff, she could probably get that thing pulled back. You can put that back, and why don't you grab your crossbow, and we'll get you going here with Bunjie Jr. So she's going to get started on that. But okay, we'll have her get ready with that one. She's going to, this one she can cock with no problems. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on the screen here, and we'll switch that around so you can see her, but see if I can get that camera a little bit better. But she's got the Charger EXT crank system on that crossbow, and she is a pro with this thing. I got to tell you, maybe I can switch this around. Well, I'll hold it. That'll work. How's that?
Don't drop it off the porch.
Don't drop it off the porch. That would be like the video equivalent of a dry fire. How bad would that be? Genevieve's going to cock this. I'm going to try and look at the comments, and at the same time, look at that. I'm going to go back to the screen here. But we'll watch her cock that crossbow. She really is good at this. She has a great routine on this, and she's already lubed it up. I've already done the lube this morning. I will scroll through some comments here and see how people are doing.
You ready?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead and you just get ready to shoot. You're going to be doing all the shooting and stuff. But this thing is, you can hear this Charger EXT. I'm doing videos about these this week to compare this with the C2 crank system from Excalibur. This is the non-clicky one. This one does a tremendous job. Look at those limbs. Those are the heaviest duty limbs in the world. I have cocked that thing with a rope, and I'm telling you, my back is still giving me a hard time about it. Lever action, great looking digs. Thank you very much. And I want to continue about that target. When I talked about the target before, that was a gift from Marshall Robinson. I just want to thank him again for all of his support this year leading up to Crossbow Appreciation Month. It's been a busy year for us because we bought a new house. We're working on this sort of thing. I've been doing a lot of work here, not nearly as much as my family has been doing. My family has been doing the most of the work. I've been working at my job and then getting ready for this, finishing the book, all that kind of stuff. But we have done a tremendous amount of work on this place. The family has, and I've been mowing that lawn though, for what that's worth. But and that has really gotten me in good shape too. By the way, I'll talk about that some other time. But the Boar target in particular, Marshall has been contributing to Death by Bunjie in the form of arrows and knowledge and expertise and all kinds of appreciated efforts. I do hope to meet him in person at the upcoming meet and greet and sending us a Boar target because he saw, and you'll see a video coming up this week probably of Genevieve and I doing some 3D shooting. Our previous 3D shooting was all done with a, you can load your arrow and stuff, get ready to go. The previous 3D shooting was all done with a javelina target, which was used up. That thing, and you'll see videos of it, it's embarrassing. And it's old. I mean, it's not one like this. This is a woodland boar. I think it's a Reinhardt. Can you read that?
I think that's what they said.
Okay. I left the box out there so you can see which one it was. I will do a little follow-up video about this too down the road here. So Genevieve's getting ready to do the loading of the arrow. Now she's keeping her fingers out of the way of the end of the arrow. I want to be clear about that. We've talked about that very clearly. She also keeps her fingers in front of the rail. Totally safe to load a crossbow arrow that way if your fingers are away from where the limbs bend, as she did, and your fingers are kept in front of the rail and not in front of the arrow. You don't want your fingers over the tip of that arrow. But I've talked to her over time about this. We've done an awful lot of work on this in terms of getting her ready for this, and she's done a really good job. Now, here is the disadvantage of, and look at that trigger finger. Look at that, how it is perfectly placed, not on the trigger. I'm so proud of this kid. Now, unfortunately, I don't have that third camera. When I had this in my head last night, I actually had this figured out. This was going to be really, really fun, and I had it all figured out how you were going to look at Genevieve shooting in this small screen right up here, and then you were going to look at the targets on the big screen. But I can't really do that without turning I can turn the laptop, maybe that'll work. That's not going to work. That is not going to work the way I'm set up here. I'm going to have to get a third webcam. Not a problem. For right now, though, you'll have to trust me. I'm going to hold my hands up so you can tell that I'm not doing the shooting, and Genevieve is doing the shooting. Nah, she's just laughing. More dad jokes, right? Crossbow Appreciation Month is full of dad jokes, Genevieve. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
For good or bad. She's going to take a shot here. I'm going to have her shoot down here. You just tell us who you're shooting at. Tell us the yardage.
How about the deer?
She's going to take a shot at the deer first. Now, what did we say that was? 36 yards?
No, that was just under 20, I think.
A little test. Just under 20. I think it was 18 and a half yards.
Yeah.
Or 18.8 yards.
I'm going to aim as though it's 20.
She's going to aim as though it's 20, she is telling me. That's very good. Are you guys ready? Here we go. The video, hopefully you can see it good. Are we ready?
Here we go.
Take your time. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I wish I could blow up on that. I don't think we're ever getting that arrow out of that.
Oh, no.
That is right in the front of the point of that Bunjie triangle. It's right here, and it is a perfect shot. I think that's a dead deer. In fact, if that tiny little foam target were to duck out of the way of this 355 feet per second crossbow from Excalibur, I think, you can go ahead and cock that again if you want. I think that deer would still be dead. I think she would have blown right through that thing's shoulder blade with this thing. We are shooting. Show me one of those arrows if you would. Hand me one of your. You can give me a quill. Give me the quiver. Why don't you? Now, she's going to give me some arrows here, and we're going to take a look at those. And look at this. How cool is that? Man, that was awesome. Did you? Yeah, nice shot. Thank you, Moose Junction Hunter. Genevieve says nice shot. Genevieve says thank you. So I'm very glad you guys appreciate that. I didn't know how this was going to go, and I was a little nervous about it because we're running around here. We're still not like fully moved in here. So I got gear at home and in our old home, and I got gear here. And so we're not even sure this morning. We're running around getting ready for a live stream. Didn't even know if we had all the gear here or not to do this. I didn't even know this was going to work. But It was going to work in some way. It was going to happen. I didn't know how well it was going to work, though. But I think we've done pretty well. The arrows that she's shooting, now, give me the quill, too, why don't you? You shoot up that last quill. We have a few different arrows. This crossbow, already did a video about it last week, like 6,000 views already. I was so happy for that because Genevieve's the star of that video, really. This one has her first Death by Bunjie interview in it, where she had actually done such a great job. I'm so proud of her. I'm going to hold this webcam again so you can see what she's doing here. You guys want to see the action shots. But this arrow is a quill, and the quills are the ones that come with this crossbow that was a gift from us, the crossbow that is the subject of that video. We've gone to the 150 grain field point on this because she plans on hunting with this with 150 grain broadheads. That's what we're going to be doing. Now, what broadhead? That's the subject of a different video, so you're going to have to come back. I bet, let me think, what broadhead would we use? If Death by Bunjie was going to pick a broadhead for his daughter, what broadhead would that be? No, don't say anything. Don't say anything. We don't want to give it away. But you guys already know the answer to that, I bet. So but that is still something there's still room for that, right? There is still room for that. Now, I want to say these quills, we like these 16.5 inch, and when she hunts, she'll probably be using these ProFlights. These are, and I'm doing a little video on this. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I know quite a bit about a lot of stuff when it comes to crossbows and crossbow hunting, but I'm learning a lot about arrows. And one of the things I like about these Black Eagle ProFlights, they are the .001 straightness, right? They're a lot more refined, more exacting than the generic quill, the so-called generic quill, basically a generic arrow, the stock arrow. But now, these, absolutely nothing wrong with using these. And I got to tell you that generally speaking, out of this crossbow, they fly the same. We haven't had, wouldn't you agree that for the most part, I think Genevieve would agree that, and you have an arrow. Oh, yeah, she's sitting over there. I can't load an arrow because you got all my arrows. But would you agree that they fly the same in our tests? So everything we've done, pretty much. I haven't seen any noticeable difference. It's not like we're like, oh, don't use the quills anymore. It wasn't like that at all. In fact, I want to talk back about Death by Bunjie. When you look back at this, and I talk about this in the book, those of you who haven't read my book or looked at my book, and there's people talking about the book, I appreciate that. Kaboom, right there's my book. You didn't think I was going through a whole video on Death by Bunjie without talking about my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story, Confessions of a Crossbow Hunter. I talk in there about the crossbows, and I talk in there about the crossbow arrows that I was using over the 10 years of hunting with the same crossbow. The stock arrows that I use with that thing, all of the deer that I killed, all the boars that I killed, everything you've seen on Death by Bunjie, and everything that I killed outside of Death by Bunjie was killed with stock arrows. Can you believe that? Just the fire bolts from Excalibur, or even the more generic non-illuminated arrows from Excalibur. But absolutely, if you are having trouble maintaining perfect accuracy with your crossbow, consistent accuracy with your crossbow, looking at upgraded arrows could be part of the solution, right? Going with heavier arrows, increasing the front of center on the arrow. That could also be a big part of the equation for improving your accuracy. And the big thing to me is that accuracy is number one with crossbows. I should use this hand because it'll show up better on the screen. Accuracy is number one with crossbows. So there you go. Genevieve's like, well, you just give me an arrow already and let me shoot something. So she's going to shoot something. How's that? That's what we do on Death by Bunjie. We shoot stuff, right?
Hopefully.
Years and years ago, it's funny, there was a YouTube channel back before I was on YouTube. I watched a lot of YouTube, right? Before I actually put out the YouTube videos. There was a guy on there, Danny's Cam, and he was just doing vlogs. That's all it was. He's a neat guy. He's a young guy, had a sawmill, put a roof on his house, did work on his house and all that stuff. But he had a series of videos called shooting stuff in the backyard, basically, and he would just pile stuff up, shooting TVs and everything. That's YouTube, right? That's how YouTube got its start. But it was great stuff. Incidentally, today, in honor of Crossbow Appreciation Month, I added a turbo shot of espresso to this coffee. So if I'm talking a little extra fast during Crossbow Appreciation Month, you know why. Genevieve's like, can I shoot stuff now? I didn't watch you load that. Did you do a good job?
Yeah.
Now, Genevieve, did you put an arrow in it this time?
Yeah.
Okay. No dry fires on Crossbow Appreciation Month. Now, let me get my cameras all sorted up here, kid. I'm going to turn this around. We're going to go to the other version of this. I'm going to spin this camera. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, I shall have I shall have this set up so that you can watch Genevieve shoot because it doesn't, you get a reaction shot of her father watching her shoot. You don't get to see her shoot. That doesn't make sense. But whatever, we'll do it. Why don't you take a shot at that block target? That's out there. What did you say that was? 66 yards? I think
25.
That's 25 yards. Okay. Now, do you have a 25-yard reticle?
I do not.
Do you have a 20-yard reticle?
Yes.
Do you have a 30-yard reticle?
Yeah.
What's halfway between 20 and 30?
25.
Now, this scope, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a Tact zone scope from Excalibur. Am I correct?
I think so.
Well, why don't you look at it? It says on it.
Oh.
It says it right on the side. In fact, I can see it from here. It says Tact zone.
Yeah.
It's a Tact zone scope. And the cool thing about that scope, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has a dot between 20 and 30.
It has dots between 30 and 40.
Oh, but nothing between 20 and 30?
No.
They have this mindset with these newer crossbows that they're somehow flat between 20 and 30 yards. And flat means different things to different people in the archery world. I am learning over time. Anything that shoots an arc does not shoot flat. My 270 does not shoot flat, so there's no flat. There's no such thing as flat. no such thing. But adequately flat, I suppose, is probably a fair statement. You think you can gauge that, Genevieve, between 20 and 30 to hit that 25-yard block and be fairly accurate, happily, satisfactorily accurate at that distance? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? We should have drum rolls. I should have sound effects for these live streams. 30 yards, my daughter, I'm going to peek around here. So is this really good content? Watching me watch Genevieve. It's like one of those reaction videos on YouTube or something.
I hate those.
She says she hates those. All right, I don't care where you shoot at that. Just tell us where you're shooting at that block.
Center dot. Might as well.
Yeah. Use up the center dot. That's great.
Yeah.
She picks the big dots. You notice that?
Yeah, of course.
See what you can do. 25 yards.
Yep.
Take your time.
A little bit right, but still in the dot.
A little bit right, but in the dot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I can make it out. It's on the... Yeah. Oh, that was a green fletchings. Yeah. You can see the green fletchings. She did hit the dot. She hit the center dot a little bit to the right. Sweet. I am happy with that. Genevieve, cock up that crossbow. Let's get another one going here. We're going to have her cock that up. I'm happy with that. That right there, 2 dead animals in 2 shots for my daughter. Now she's doing all the shooting here, and I hope that you appreciate that. Number one, because this is her first time in a live stream. I don't think she's ever appeared in a live.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's doing really well. And I was a little nervous about it because I don't know if she knew the extent to which she was going to be the star of this live stream. I didn't really tell her all the details, but I'm glad that it's worked out as well as it has. The cool thing about this, though, is she's shooting under pressure, very similar to what's going to happen at the meet and greet. If she chooses to hunt beyond that for deer or any other animal, that's pretty much what's going to happen. You're going to be shooting, it's going to be under pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the deal. So she's pulling this off. I'm pretty happy with that, and she has 2 killing shots on 2 animals. Let's shoot that little chunk next.
Okay.
Let's put a hurting on that little guy. You can hear that crossbow creaking when you cock it.
I think it's the crank.
She thinks it's the crank. It is a tremendous amount of stress on those limbs, on the strings, on every bit of that machine. But she has a really good routine down with this, and I'm happy with that. She's worked out, because routine is a big part of crossbow hunting to me. That is very important to me. The cool thing about this crossbow is, I mean, you know the cool stuff like I talked about in that video, but while it gives me an opportunity, we make the best of our time, right? There's a little bit of downtime, taking the strap off. There's extra equipment with this crossbow. You got to have a crank system. You got to have a strap to hold on to the crank system. You can't even just use the crank system. You got to have a strap and a wrist strap for your crank system. So that's like the world we live in with crossbows. That's like a subject of a different video, really. But and I took all her arrows. She's grabbing her ProFlights here and her little quiver. It's such a compact little compact little crossbow. It actually comes with a quiver that holds 3 arrows, not 4. Isn't that cool? Let's go through some of these stuff. Old Grumpy Hunter, testing her math skills, not nice on a live stream. That's funny that you mentioned that.
Don't bring this up.
I was testing her on the way up here. We were trying to figure out how old she was when she shot Bunjie. And we were doing math to do that. It was 9 years ago. So you're 17 now. So 17 minus 9 is what? And she's just like,
stop.
but the thing is, we were both like, we just got up. We were just on our way here, so. Oh, it was funny. What?
It's 8.
The difference is 8. Yeah, okay, yeah, you know the difference. Yeah, she knows that stuff. I know.
Oh.
That's why we pay taxes, right? We're paying taxes for all this stuff. Jonathan Vano, first live from Prince Edward Island. I am probably murdering these names, and I apologize for that. But thank you very much, Jonathan, for joining us here on this live stream. This is a good one to join because this is our first live stream in the backyard. Hopefully the first of many. If you guys get a kick out of this, hopefully we'll do a bunch of these. Jet Wash Outdoors up there in Ontario, Canada. Good morning to you. Old Grumpy Hunter, Genevieve, don't shoot the fire ring.
I won't.
Yeah, that was here when we moved in here. But boy, that thing will be here when we move. Yeah. Like when I'm long gone, that thing is like, it weighs about 800 pounds. I think it's part of an old factory smokestack or something. That thing is not going anywhere. It's pretty funny. Jet Wash Outdoors should put in a pole with a tree stand for practice. There is, I'm going to turn this back around so we can look at our yard again. But there is a tree. Now, there's a couple of dead ash trees down there. I will refrain from putting tree stands in those. But if you look, sort of on the upper right there, and I'll see if I can turn it a little bit, but there's a couple of cherries down on the bottom that will be suitable for tree stands down the road if you're going to do that. But I really like this. We don't have to worry about, the tree stand is an important thing to practice because it's not just shooting from the elevation that's important. It's also the getting in and getting out. Before we hunt separately down the road, if that were to happen, before we are to hunt separately from tree stands, she will absolutely be getting used to climbing in and out, setting up her harness, the whole bit. I have all that planned down the road. I actually have a tree stand coming just for that little tree down there, a 15-footer. That'll be really just used for practice. That's all it's for. So that is a plan. That's a plan that you make an absolutely good point there. We need to do that. Scroll through here and see what we got for other comments here. There's no way that I can keep up with the comments on here, but I think that's great. You guys are having a lot of good conversations on here, it looks like. And I will go back later and go through this stuff and see what we can do. Yeah. The Richter scale. I'm excited to check out your book. I'm personally not a reader, but new to crossbows and hunting in general, so I'll take all the info I can get. Let me tell you what, the Richter scale, you will want to check out that book. That book actually documents and explains my evolution as a crossbow hunter, and I think for a new crossbow hunter, that book is an exceptionally good read. I am a biased opinion to say that, but it does tell all the pitfalls that I was exposed to, that I struggled through, all the things that I had to get my head around being new to archery. It explains me getting out of hunting and getting back into hunting. I don't want to give the whole story away, but it really has quite a story behind it, but an awful lot of good stuff I think that will help you. Obviously, and I'm a little bit biased on this too, if you go back to Death by Bunjie and you watch my old videos, hopefully that stuff helps too, you know what I mean? And hopefully participating in these live streams, you guys can go through here and you can participate and ask questions and all that good stuff too. And there is a new Death by Bunjie forum concept coming. I'm working out the kinks on it, but I can tell you our Death by Bunjie group page was so fantastic for that. But in part because of the crazy world we live in, it was a problem. In part because of Facebook's platform, it was a problem. But going forward, that's not that concept, that idea, that community that we built on here, that we will continue to build elsewhere. So we will do that. Don't you worry. I saw Chuck Smith said, don't tell everything about the book. I ordered mine Friday, looking for it to come in the mail. Absolutely don't worry about that. I will refrain from, I'm going to give you tidbits here and there. I just want to inspire people to take a look at that book because I hope that they will get something out of it. I worked really hard on it. I'm quite proud of it. It actually turned out pretty good. So Genevieve, we're going to get back to some shooting here. She's like, you know, I really like to shoot something again. I'll spin this around. So there's my daughter there. Okay, so that's, what's the name of that crossbow?
Bunjie Jr.
Yeah. I don't have the voice coming in there on the live streams. That's another thing. I should have the sound effect. I should have a button where I can push it every time she says it and do the sound effects that augment the value of that name, right? To make that sound awesome. So, right?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. So she's all set up here. Bunjie is in that picture, by the way. Can you point to Bunjie real quick? Well, you already showed him Bunjie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back there in the corner taking up 2/3 of the balcony. So, I'm sorry. I don't mean anything bad by it, Bunjie. I don't want Bunjie to get upset here. All right. Now we have this set up. We have effectively killed 2 of those targets. I think we should shoot that little block That's at 66 yards. Is that right? That block target?
15.
15? Wow. I will say this. Distance on these things, that 25-yard target, that looks awfully far away. Like you,
It does?
to me, it does. That if that were an animal, I mean, I personally wouldn't have any trouble. The laptop screen's right away from me, but I would not have any hesitation to shoot a deer at 25 yards with a proper broadside shot the whole bit. And you did a great job with your shot here. You're right in the kill zone within that 3-inch circle. You're doing great. The chunk target, that's my preferred distance. What'd you say, 15 yards?
Yep.
That's a real nice distance to shoot an animal at, I think, and with archery equipment. But that farther distance, when you go out to 30 yards, when I was putting these targets down out there and looking back up at the house and using a rangefinder, man, it seems like a long ways, but whatever, We got to do what we got to do. The deer is effectively dead. The block target has been harvested. Let's see what we can do with the little guy there, the chunk target. And kaboom, let's see what we can do.
Also, it turns out I do not have a 15-yard pin like I thought I did.
So she does not have a 15-yard pin on the 355 suppressor with the Tact zone scope, for those of you interested. You are now shooting a ProFlight arrow, are you?
Yes.
Now watch, the ProFlight will end up down the railroad tracks or something.
How about the lower right dot?
Lower right dot. Oh, you're getting awful particular. That's a pretty big guarantee. She's trying to hit the lower right dot on that little chunk target. Are you ready? Whenever. Dead center. That was beautiful. Move that target and everything. This crossbow puts a hurting on that little target. I bought targets for old Bunjie there, and they work great. Genevieve, you go ahead and crack that up, and we'll get your last arrow going here.
I got 2 more.
You got 2 more? Well, if you want to shoot them, we'll shoot them. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Perfect shot on that lower right-hand corner. Can't ask for a better shot than that. Totally happy with that. The chunk target is the target that I bought for use for traveling. Like, that's not really, it's nice to have extra targets in the yard that we don't have to get out there, because for us to go down there, we'd have to go back through the house, out the basement, out there, and change the targets, get the arrows, come back up here. So we're not doing that today, not in a live stream. It'd be a real drag. Plus, you'd have to listen to that screen door. That's no good. Right? We'll have to work on that too. But this is nice because she has the opportunity to shoot off of here, and that target, it just gives us another option to shoot. So she's really doing well with her aiming from a tree stand stuff. And you can see a couple of things here that I want to point out. One is, if your crossbow's accurate on a flat surface, it should be accurate on from elevation. Generally, there's no doubt the elevation either way is going to affect your crossbow shot. But when you use a rangefinder that calculates the angle of elevation or declination, you use that shoot as number, we're dead on. And she's demonstrating that now. She is dead on. Boom, boom, boom. Right? No problem. So that's one important example. The other thing is, this is very important because you're shooting down on your targets, shooting down on your animals. And you have to get your head around that 3D concept, right? Moose Junction Hunter points out this is a 3D shooting, and you can't beat it. That's what 3D shooting does best. It gives you that opportunity to sort of visualize and prepare for that hunting experience. And that hunting experience, that's the key here. That's the key to see what's going on down the road here with these with the animals, and when you are confronted with those shots. And that's why I'm doing it at the different distances as well. Now the targets, the little block targets, help with her getting her head around the angles and shooting and stuff, and more comfortable with that. So, but if you shoot at the animals and stuff, that's pretty good too. So this is pretty good. Now we're doing a boar now.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the box.
I'm not.
See, she moved the rangefinder. You were rangefinding the box, weren't you?
I think I was on the other time. It doesn't like to read the board.
Oh, that is a problem with rangefinders, and I'd like to hear from you in the comments. I've had, over time, a lot of trouble with rangefinders on targets. It won't pick up targets. Like my rangefinder, I like it. It's a Bushnell. It's a nice rangefinder. But the problem is it does not pick up targets well. It does not pick up. It's in my black chair that I'm sitting in now that I travel with. I carry that with me. When I set that up and I go out 20 yards and I go back with a rangefinder, it doesn't want to pick it up. It takes several attempts. Do you have problems with that? And do you have a rangefinder that does not have problems picking up foam targets or 3D targets in this case? It's like it doesn't like the material or something. So I end up like shooting at the ground next to it, or sometimes I end up shooting at the grass or the leg of the target or whatever else, that kind of thing. So I think we're going to get ready to shoot at that. Swing this around here. We're going to shoot at the boar. Now, again, this boar, now we've been given some helpful instructions. So hang on here, kid. I'm going to talk a little bit before we do that. More talking, thanks to Dunkin' Donuts and its iced coffee with a turbo shot of espresso. But that boar target, if you look at that guy here, and I'm looking over the railing at it, it has the foam insert in there. And you'll see that the foam insert is really designed more for saving the target over time than it is teaching you where to shoot at the target, if that makes any sense. Really what I'm saying is that front shoulder, the lungs on that boar are a little bit in the front there over his left leg, the leg that's facing us, his front leg, than they are back. If you shoot back, if you shot in the back, and I don't know if you probably can't even make it out, but on this foam target, if you look at on that 3D target, if you look at that foam insert, it goes all the way back behind his liver and into his entrails. So that's not where we're going to be shooting. It's great for practice and everything else, not a problem. In fact, for your quartering away shots, if you're doing 3D archery, for a quartering away shot kid, we would be shooting back there and hitting the back end of that foam target, of that foam insert, because we want to angle in toward the vitals. So if he's running away from us or getting ready to, he's turning, and you don't shoot a running boar, obviously, but if he were turned and facing away from us a little bit, then we would take that shot. Here, I want you to practice shooting, stay in a foam insert for the most part, because we haven't shot this target yet. It's brand new, as you can see by the box seated next to it there. But we want to stay in the foam insert. I think it's going to be a little bit easier to get the arrow out, maybe, maybe not. I have no idea about pulling these arrows. I know with our block target there and the little chunk, those will pull out easy. That deer, we're probably, for all I know, we're going to have to cut that out of there. I don't know. But we'll see how this goes. We've got this boar up close, in part because we needed a 10-yard shot. How far is this one?
About 11.
11 yards, she's saying. So we're going to shoot as though it's 10. Very good, no problem. And the other reason I want it up front so you can see it, because it's a cool target. So, plus a 10-yard shot, 11-yard shot, that is realistic for the meet and greet. That can happen, right? I shot one at like 12, 15 yards once, one at 30 yards, complete pass-through at 30 yards with old Bunjie. How awesome is that? And one shot killed it. One shot, one kill. And then last year, I shot one boar at 20 yards and shot the same boar at 20 yards. So, whatever. 2 shots. Huh? Get your money's worth. That's what I say, right? So, anyway, Genevieve's like, that's enough talking. Lower left-hand corner of this screen below me here, you see the wild boar. Genevieve is going to shoot that at 11 yards. When she is ready, she will take that shot. When she feels comfortable with that shot, she and Bunjie Jr., they're going to take that shot. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Sweet. I think that's showing. You can see it there. That was a good shot. That's perfect, kid. Yay. You're all set. I honestly, I'm impressed with this kid. Let me just personally clap for this kid.
Yay.
I'm happy. I'm proud of her. Seriously, I'm going to turn back so you can see how beautiful that shot is. That is just gorgeous. We're going to go right onto that webcam so you can see that good. That shot could not be better. It is angled down. Remember, we're shooting from a tree stand. We're shooting from an elevated position. That shot definitely got both lungs on that boar. Probably clipped the top of the heart. Probably that thing is dead within 30 yards. He's dead within sight. We would find him, no problem, and her hunt would be over, except for the celebrating, except for the going back to the lodge and enjoying and telling everybody about the story, and then we go home and edit video. That's what that shot is. How perfect is that? I'm proud of you. I am. Seriously, that was really good. That was really good. You got one more arrow. You want to shoot one more?
Yeah.
And we'll take a shot here. Let's shoot that deer, but let's not shoot the deer in the same. Oh, man, I don't know. Let's shoot the boar. Shoot the boar again. Well, we'll work on. Well, you shoot whatever. In fact, don't even tell us what you're going to shoot. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to discuss the yardage in advance. I want you to take the rangefinder and make sure you double check and you're comfortable with your distance. Take a shot at whatever target you want, and you will surprise all of the friends of Bunjie with your choice of shot selection. How cool is that? That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Thank you again. Everybody's giving you a pat on the back here, kid.
Yay.
Yeah, people are loving this. That's awesome. They are loving this shot. That's cool. can barely see my screen out here too. The other nice thing about this little balcony is we're just behind the eaves here. So I'm not actually in the sun. The whole balcony is in the shade. How cool is that? The sun's coming out. As you can see, we've lit up that shot down there. Look at those dead ash trees. Isn't that awful? It's just sad. The ash trees are no more. Makes me upset. Moose Junction Hunter. 3 things you should never talk about. Politics, religion, and broadheads.
Yeah?
Well, here's the problem with that. This is why I disagree with you. Because politics, there's different political philosophies. There's many of them. Religion, there's lots of different religions. So you're bound to have arguments about those things. But when it comes to broadheads, there's only rage crossbow hypodermics. Like, there's nothing else, right?
You got the tripan, though. That's kind of different.
Genevieve says, no, there's the tripan also. We can have debates about whether we should use the rage crossbow hypodermic or the rage crossbow tripan. We can have that debate. But really, that's all there is for broadheads, right?
Yeah, you have field points.
Oh, there's field points. There's field points. But that's not really broadheads. That's more like, that's a whole different animal, right? So there you go. That was another piece of humor for the morning here. So they make other broadheads? Really? That's like news to me. I didn't. Oh, you guys are having fun on here. That's great.
How much did your comments spike at that?
I don't know. I don't see anything else on it. I'm not down that far in the feed. Well, when it gets bad, I'll just end the live stream with that. Lever Action says he likes the wrist strap. I agree with you 100%. The wrist strap, I wouldn't use this thing without the wrist strap, even me. I can hold on to that cocking lever, and it's not going anywhere on me. But when you first go to uncock it, for example, it springs a little bit on you. That wrist strap, it's mandatory, especially when you're outdoors. You get a little sweaty, a little sticky. You get a little nervous in a tree stand or something like that, or at the base of your tree stand. The safety stuff, especially when you're moving up to these heavier draw weight crossbows, you can't beat that strap. And that's when I talk about that routine. Very important. She's got that routine down. She has her own routine that we worked on together and toyed with a little bit and tinkered with. But it's now down flat. She's got this thing down pat where she does the same thing every time, does it very well. That's what avoids dry fires. Did you put an arrow in, Genevieve?
I did.
She did. Look at that. Chip off the old block. I put an arrow in 99% of the time before I pull the trigger. So, yeah, that's important. So.
Those are good odds.
Good odds. Good enough. She's going to shoot. We're going to get another shot in here.
I'm going to surprise you.
Oh, this is her surprise shot. So let me get this on the screen, full size here, if I can figure that out. She is going to put that on here, and we're going to see what happens. How's that?
You ready?
I am. Let's do it.
That was the one I was aiming at.
Oh, man. Genevieve, I'm really impressed. If you can't see it, and I'm going to try and do a little bit better with the webcam stuff here, okay? This is the first one we've done like this, and hopefully you guys like this, and we'll see how we go with it. But she took a shot on the furthest target. She could have taken the easy shot. She could have taken the easy way out, but she took the long shot there. Bottom left-hand dot on the big block target at 25 yards, right?
Yep.
So that's realistic hunting distance right there. And hit that target, that big dot. Now that's 3-inch dot. She hit the top of it, no problem. She's within an inch of the dead center. She's essentially hitting a quarter, within a quarter's width of the dead center of that arrow, of that dot. That's perfect. Could not ask for more. You got like 5 arrows out there, 3 Luminox burning in the sunlight, and she has done a fantastic job. That's pretty cool. Now you aren't going to do better than that. We aren't going to do better than that. I'll do a real quick wrap up on some of the comments here, you guys, and then Genevieve and I are going to get to work. We got a whole bunch of stuff we got to do today. I want to thank Marshall once again for all the input and for the target, and I certainly hope that my broadhead jokes didn't offend Marshall or anyone else. But hopefully that's pretty good. We'll look through this stuff real quick. We'll go through some of these comments if I can see them on the screen here. We've got Black Mamba saying, I had my eye on a broadhead, but don't know how accurate it is. I would start looking at your forums, look at your YouTube, get the broadhead, and then shoot it. Without shooting a sample of that broadhead, you can't know. I think you really need to know for sure. Lever action, quartering away is my preferred shot. You know, I agree too, 100%. What I did with that boar, though, you'll notice that boar, I quartered that tour just a little bit. In my experience at the Boar Preserve, those animals are a little bit pressured, not extremely pressured. There's animals all over the place that are back and forth, and there's hunters going in and out all the time, and they are moving nonstop. They get wise to hunters pretty quick. You do get quartering 2 shots that you have to at least consider, and I feel comfortable with the quartering 2 shot, especially in sort of an abbreviated style hunt such as the meet and greet, where that animal, we're going to get a second shot at that animal, worst case scenario. Ideally, we don't need that second shot, and we make sure that we don't need that second shot by practicing like this to make sure that we are accurate. And I probably will take a shot or 2 before we're done, but I'm not going to do that in the live stream.
No, why don't you?
You want me to do it on the live stream?
Yeah.
Let me go through the comments real quick, then we'll do them. Did you lube, Bunjie?
Yeah.
It's all lubed up?
Yeah.
And I do have my arrows. In fact, I can take a couple of shots real quick, and we'll show you the difference. In fact, I'll have Genevieve sit here, and I'll have Genevieve film me cocking that crossbow, just so we can see the difference in the cocking and all that stuff. That's not a bad way to do it. But the quartering 2 shots, I want her to get a little bit familiar with those. I don't want her to prefer a quartering 2 shot. I don't want her to, or anybody else out there, to think it's acceptable to just always take quartering 2 shots, take the first shot that's given. But I think to be successful as a crossbow hunter, you have to be a little bit more familiar with them, because those are going to happen. You heavy arrow guys, there's a movement now in crossbow hunting, which we'll talk about in later videos this month, where some of these guys prefer the quartering. They'll take any shot they got because they got arrows that they think are perfect. But everybody. We have Lever Action saying, who is extremely familiar with hunting in every archery shot presented, extremely familiar with heavy arrows, heavy front of center, extreme front of center arrows, and penetration, what it takes to get the job done. Still preferring quartering 2 shots. That is extremely valuable information. Somebody that has that much understanding of the physics behind the shot saying, look, I still prefer a quartering 2 shot. And you know what else? I bet if we asked him, he would say he still prefers a shot that's 20 yards, 30 yards and under, not 40, 50, 60 yards. I bet he still would agree with that. Very important stuff, very valuable information, I think. With crossbows, as fast as they are now, everybody thinking, oh, I could shoot 60, 70 yards. Yeah, you can do what you want to do, but a lot of this is about odds when we're hunting with archery. And your best odds are your closer shots. And I'm not going to preach too much on this, but one more little point that I want to make on this. Part of the fun of crossbow hunting is getting the animals, getting that shot opportunity. That's the fun of crossbow hunting, is getting the animals at 10, 15, 20, and 25 yards. That is where the skill for crossbow hunting comes in. That's part of the skill. That's part of the game. That's part of this whole activity, is getting close to the animals. That's the fun part of it. If I wanted to shoot a deer that was down there all the way at the bottom of this hill, tucked in those trees, almost down to the railroad tracks, almost down to the river or whatever, I'd be using a rifle. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be using my crossbow. I'm going to shoot this other crossbow. So what am I going to do with the things here? I think this works. We'll leave it right there. I'm going to switch places with Genevieve real carefully. Genevieve, don't disrupt the delicate balance here. We got cords all over the place on the deck here, and we got the coffee there. Don't kick that off the balcony. And we've got my water and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to switch places with her real quick. And is that like a plan? All right. Get out of the chair. You can pick up that webcam and turn that toward me.
Okay.
The portable one. Yep. See what you're doing? Oh, just pick it up. You got to pick it up.
Oh. I can see you, though.
Can you see the crossbow? Are you going to see my feet?
That's better.
Yeah. You can act like think of it as you're working a camera and spinning stuff around.
Okay.
So, well, this is Bunjie, right? This is old Bunjie here. She's got it lubed for me, so we might as well shoot it, right? I don't want all that lube to go to waste. People talk about lube and all these alternatives to lube. We took that back in the house, so we'll be cluttering up the floor here. But the tube, I have a tube of scorpion venom that I'm using on Bunjie Junior and Bunjie. And that tube I bought in 2010. And it's still the same tube. So it was $10 or $8 or something in 2010. Now it's $14. But it's lasted 10 years. Like, I don't think, you don't need to find a cheap alternative to, just use the lube that they sell you. You can spend all day with these other things, but sometimes you don't need to do that. Probably can't even hear me. Here I am going on, you can't even hear me. But I'll get this out of the way, making sure that that's good. Boom, boom. We're going to cock that, put this on here, put that on safe, put this back in here, and boom. We'll get this. I'm going to pick up an arrow. I got 2 arrows here. I'm going to get my chair situated. All right, are we good?
Yep.
All right. See if I can get this up here. Boom, boom. These arrows, I want to get back on me real quick. A couple things I want to talk about with these arrows, right? First of all, black vein down on these, right? These are weighted arrows. They are special arrows. They are spined, indexed arrows, the whole bit. And they go a certain way, so it's going to go in this way, okay? Number one. The other thing is, the front of center on this thing, there's inserts up here. This arrow, when I hold on to it, it's almost like there's a magnetic field. It just tips right over. Like this arrow, this has a 100 grain field point on it. And look at, like that's the balancing point on it. Look at that. Can you see it good?
Yeah.
Like that's just a rough, but look at that. Like it's very front of center. So these are a special arrow that there'll be more on this. Don't read into this. Don't assume that just because I'm doing this, you need to do a certain way or anything like that, or that I'm endorsing heavy arrows and thinking that they're mandatory across the board or whatever. They are valuable. There's a lot of value in this that exceeds penetration. It's not just penetration we're talking about here. There's a lot of death by Bunjie related things that I like that this heavy arrow can accomplish, even with this old, slow crossbow. Older, slower crossbow. We're going to load that, slide that in here good, make sure it's seated nice. Genevieve, that was another thing she does real well. You got the anti-dry fire on Bunjie Junior. This doesn't have that. So it slides right under that. Like this slides right in real quick and easy. And when this stops, the first resistance it gets is the actual string. So it's not a problem. It is the actual trigger mechanism. So boom. With hers, you got a little bit of finagling to do to get past the anti-dry fire, right?
Yeah.
But she does it well. She does it well. So I didn't talk about that before, but that's what it is. I am going to see what we get. Hey, you know what we ought to do? I'm going to shoot the deer, and then I'll shoot the boar with these 2 arrows. And then we're going to compare the penetration we get out of 16.5-inch quills off Bunjie Junior and the penetration I get with a heavy spinal tap arrow, 527, I think it is, with the 100 grain field point, 527 feet per second. No. I wish. 527 grain arrow. She's laughing. The 520, nobody's shooting 527. If you add them together, we're shooting about 527 feet per second. How's that? But Genevieve is actually shooting 350 or so with hers, and I'm shooting 277. I'll shoot the deer first, see what we can do here. Why don't you get that turned over there? Can you see them good?
Here, give me a second.
Take your time. Oh, you aren't going to bend the camera.
No, I know. I got it.
Is it on good?
Yeah.
You actually have to bend the clip in order to get it.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to shoot back a little bit. This was not where I would shoot the deer. This is where I want to get over there so people can hear me, make sure that people can hear me. I am not shooting. Genevieve and I are going to get in the same camera angle. Go over to this. Click on.
That one?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
So we're both on the same one. Hi.
Hi.
I am not going to shoot. I'm going to shoot back on the deer, like farther the other way. Well, it's actually farther. I don't know. Whatever you're looking at. I'm going to shoot more toward the liver of the deer because I don't want to hit her arrow. Okay, so I'm not going to shoot anywhere near her arrow. But we are going to compare penetration. Probably I will post something I will either post something as a community post here on YouTube. I'll probably post it as a picture. Do pictures of that. Post them on here and post them on the Facebook page if you are interested. So there we go. All right. So now we got that. Ready? I'm headed back over here. All right, I'm going to see if I can hit the deer. Do we know how far that is? 18? That's the 18 guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay.
All right, same elevation as Genevieve. I just shot back to the right a little bit. You can see I hit right where I was aiming. Did you see? Let me lift that up and show it on me here real quick so you can see me. Oh, you can leave the dual screen on. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just pick this up. So, can you see me again?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
when I shot at that, did you notice the difference in tone? That's another advantage of these heavier arrows. I took all of the sound dampening equipment off of Bunjie here. In fact, the only thing remaining are the bumpers. Okay. Hold this for me, please.
Yep.
Por favor. Now you can give it back here. I'm gonna go back and see what I'm doing. But you can see the string bumpers are on there, but we don't have the stars, no string stars, no X shocks, no limb savers, none of that stuff. I don't know if that's helpful or not. You guys are probably getting motion sickness watching me. But shooting with that, this thing is, I think, is actually quieter with the heavy arrows and none of the sound dampening equipment. I think it's actually quieter. We ran a couple of tests. I will reveal those tests in a future video, so make sure you're following us for the rest of Crossbow Appreciation Month. Hopefully the audio is picking up there. I'm going to cock this again. And this out of the way here. Take one more shot. We're going to put a hurting on that boar before the day is over and see what we got here. All right, put that on there. Are you ready?
Yep.
Got her cocked good here. Boom! Put it on safety. That is that routine I was talking about. Got to have that routine. And grab the last of my arrows. This one, we're going to double check. Ooh, it's a little loose. Part of the routine, checking the broadhead with the, in this case, the 100 grain field point. Putting the black side down. I'm doing a left-hander here. That is not a normal routine. Put that in there good. Thumb on the safety, making sure that we're still on the safe. Getting a seat handy, and we're going to see what we can do with that boar.
No, wait.
Genevieve.
All right, go ahead.
All right, the boar's in the image somehow. Doesn't have to be centered.
As good as I can get it.
It'll be good. Ready for that?
Yep.
And him. Boom! Right level with Genevieve. It is right to the right of that. So I hit about 2 inches to the right of Genevieve. These things are shooting dead on. There you kid. You hop up there. I'm going to do some wrap up here. We'll turn that around just so we got it. So I can get in here good. So there we go. Well, that is a good little shoot this morning. Just so you know, just so the follow up here. The boar, my arrow went 2 inches to the right of hers, 3 inches, something like that. The deer, same deal. My crossbow Bunjie here shooting dead on. I wasn't just kidding in the last video when I said that Bunjie's pretty cool and I'm pretty happy with it. Man, I like fast crossbows, and speed is one of the advantages of crossbows. So it's hard to give that up. And when you see Bunjie Jr. shooting, man, I'm so impressed. But I'm really more impressed with the accuracy and what Genevieve's able to do with it. That's the important thing. With old Bunjie here, I just cocked it in 2 shots and boom. I just killed a hog. I just killed a deer at 20 yards, 18.8 yards, whatever it was. What more do you want? I don't need more than that. You know, I mean, these things are dead on. Those arrows went exactly where I was asking for them to go. Now we'll compare that penetration. That's something I haven't really done side by side penetration tests yet. But we'll measure this stuff, and I will. In fact, I'll do a video about it. I'll post that video this week. How's that? You guys who watch this, I really appreciate it. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I don't know how long we've been on here, but I'm sure it's been a while. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Actually, we've been on here for an hour. How perfect is this? It's 10:01.
Oh.
Can you believe that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this bad boy around one more time so you can see my wonderful daughter. I am so proud of this kid. I really am. Genevieve, sincerely, I mean this. You did a fantastic job. This is just great. I'm going to go back through and read the comments later, you guys, so thank you very much. So I will post some results on the Facebook page. I will post some results in pictures on the YouTube channel, okay, in the community post section, so you get a little picture. But I'll also do a video on this as a follow-up, and we will post that video this week during Crossbow Appreciation Month. How cool is that? Isn't that a good idea, kid?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much. I'm going to look back through here. I'm going to type one thing before we get out of here. I'm going to have to go back. Man, there's a lot of comments. Oh, the comments are so good. There's so many. Oh, and we're talking about, oh yeah, Old Grumpy Hunter says no Robin Hoods. Exactly. Yeah, Bunjie is not as loud. Bungie's quiet now. I would almost go so far as to say quiet. So we're getting there. We're getting somewhere. But very happy about this. So Jeff Hammer, buy the Assassin. Oh yeah, I know. You look at that stuff. I'm telling you, it's been that way for the whole time. You know, every year you look at those new crossbows and it's like, man, look at this, look at that. But did you see what I just did there? No cranking, no wrist strap,
No anti-dry fire.
no anti-dry fire. Who needs that? Who needs that stuff? Like I said, 99.9% of the time, I don't dry fire anyway. So why do I need anti-dry fire stuff? I almost never do that. So, right?
Sure, Dad. Hey.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Thank you guys, Loxbog. Thank you. He says, great show, Rich. Thank you very much. And I think that means great show, Rich and Genevieve. She did all the work. She did all the heavy lifting. She's the one that was on the spot this year during this live shoot. I even set
up all the targets.
Oh, come on. I helped. I helped with some of that stuff. She ran and got all the tools, though, and carried the targets out. She actually did set up all the targets. I had to set up the live stream, the internet access.
Yeah. You sat up here in the shade while I put all the targets out in the yard.
I'm going to go through and I will respond to the comments because this stuff is great and I really appreciate it. But I want to type one thing here. And we're going to do that. Boom. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this live stream. I think this was about the most fun live stream I've been.
This was fun.
This was fun. I'm glad you had fun because I sure did. I'm telling you, seriously, I had a great time. So I hope you guys did too. Boom. There, I typed it. It's gone. All hail Bunjie and all hail Bunjie Jr. Thanks, you guys.